What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Week 13, wide receiver starts and sits. Another crazy week.
Yeah, to say the least.
Thanks, Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
Everybody pretty much had him faded this past week. He decided to go off against Xavier. Actually, we should be thanking Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah, good job, buddy.
Thanks for doing nothing.
Right.
Horrible. But no, we appreciate you guys sticking with us. It's one of those crazy years. I mean, you hit some, you miss some. It is what it is, but that's part of the game.
It is.
I mean, if we knew all the answers, we would play all those answers and make a lot of money.
A whole lot.
We can just give you the information to make an educated guess.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
but, you know, it is what it is. It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, even though you take some on the chin a few weeks, like I've said in past videos, you're either locked in the playoffs right now, you're fighting for it, or you're out of it. But there's something in it for playing the spoiler.
It is, man.
I mean, if you can knock one of your buddies out of the playoffs, that's almost as good as beating them in the playoffs.
Well, and then you don't want to be last in your league either.
No. So. There's some leagues that got some stiff penalties for finishing last.
Yeah.
Don't finish last.
Do not do it.
Don't quit on us.
That would have been a bet this year that would have been won.
Yes.
In one league.
Yeah. It would have involved a romper.
Yes.
And many Facebook posts. That's not, yeah. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into our wide receiver start sits for the week. We're gonna swing for the fences on a couple of these.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. It'll be fun.
Yes, indeed.
Why don't you start us off? Who you got?
Well, since you already talked or alluded to this gentleman that we kind of were iffy on going into this past week, but now he's my start without a doubt, Mr. Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones.
Yes. They're going against the Ravens, and by no means whatsoever are the Ravens scrubs when it comes to that defense, but I think Marvin Jones has been consistently Matt's probably best option in that offense. Golden Tate's still a great receiver. Ebron, we don't even talk about him much. I mean, we have to do it because he is on the team, I guess. But, he hasn't been an option. And Mr. Galladay he's shown flashes every now and again. But Marvin Jones he's been the constant. The guy that I think he'll give you solid plays. Then he'll give you weeks where he looks kind of like Antonio Brown. I think this is one of those weeks. It's going to be one of those situations where Stafford's not going to have a lot of time to throw the ball because the Ravens are going to be headhunting. But Marvin Jones is going to be one of those plays that he might get a 40-yard pass to the end zone. He just has that ability. So Marvin Jones is a must start for me this week.
Back on the Marvin Jones bandwagon.
Back on it, baby.
Yeah, he proved us wrong last week. We're back on it. We believe.
We believe in you, Marvin.
I'm going to go with somebody who's scored touchdowns in 5 straight weeks.
Okay.
He's got 6 touchdowns in the last 5 weeks. Has been great majority of the year. I'm going to go out to the Jets, Mr. Robby Anderson.
Yeah.
Robby Anderson looking like a mini Moss.
Yeah.
Because at first he was labeled as, he's just a big play guy. He was kind of similar to what Marquise Goodwin in San Francisco is.
Yeah.
He was good for 1 or 2 catches a game. One of them could go for 70 and a touchdown. All of a sudden it's turned into somebody that they rely on in the offense. He had 6 catches for $146, 2 touchdowns against Carolina. Yeah. I mean, and Carolina is no slouch. But he played great. And then McCown and his rapport together is only getting stronger. They're going to be at home against Kansas City. You can throw on Kansas City. I mean, technically, I guess the Jets can throw on almost anybody this year. I mean, he's putting up numbers he's gotten touchdowns against Miami, Atlanta, Buffalo, Tampa, 2 against Carolina. I mean, he's on a roll. And next week, after this week, he goes to Denver, which is going to be a little bit tougher for him. So make sure you roll him out there this week. I got him as one of my starts for the week. Robby Anderson, definitely somebody who's not just a flex play anymore.
No.
He's in the wide receiver 2 category. I mean, technically before this week's stats and everything get done, since we're recording on Monday, so everything's not in yet, he'll be in the top 15 overall wide receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Robby Anderson, but he's solid.
Yeah. Well, this gentleman I'm getting ready to talk about Some have likened him to Mr. Antonio Brown number-wise this year. The guy's been balling out of control. And to me, well, coming into the season, he wasn't the number one on this particular team. Now he is, and that's Mr. Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen is looking phenomenal, man. I mean, and again, we talked about it in the previous video about Keenum, being comfortable within this offense. He took over the reins for Bradford, and he hadn't looked back, and he's looked Thielen's way a lot.
And he catches everything. Yeah. I think it's the shiny yellow gloves.
Maybe. I mean,
he looks for the yellow gloves. Find the yellow gloves. It's like following the yellow brick road.
Right.
Football style.
Yeah.
But Thielen, I mean, for what he is and where he came from, wasn't highly recruited, drafted, nothing like that. Hometown Minnesota boy. Mm-hmm. To turn into what he's turned into it's like a fairy tale story, because the dude is hands down one of the top receivers in football.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, he's got the speed, runs like a 4.4, 4.5 40, great hands, catches everything, good teammate.
Yeah.
Huge Adam Thielen fan.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely glad to see that from him. I'm gonna go to. He's not a surprise anymore. He actually threw a touchdown this past week. He threw a 51-yard touchdown this past week to Julio. I'm talking about Mohamed Sanu. Mohamed Sanu is quietly putting together a very solid season. Mm-hmm. I mean, he has been somebody who Ryan looks for, I can't say more than Julio.
Right.
But, this is all the coverage is going Julio's way. Mohamed Sanu is the one benefiting from that. I mean, he's averaging 5 to 7 catches a game. Mm-hmm. This past week, he had 64 yards and 8 catches and threw the 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
He's involved in the offense, and the offense is starting to click. He's had, touchdowns in 3 of his last 5 games. Mm-hmm. They're going to be at home against Minnesota. Yeah. Okay, so we faded Marvin Jones against Xavier Rhodes. We can't fade Julio too much against Xavier.
No.
Because it's Julio.
That's right.
But Rhodes is going to be on Julio. That's the given. Mm-hmm. Mohamed Sanu is going to be the beneficiary of a lot of those.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna run this play for Julio. If he's not open, it's going to Sanu.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not getting Gabriel involved. Hooper's hit and miss. Mm-hmm. I would think that Freeman comes back this week, but I also thought he was going to come back last week.
Yeah.
So who knows with that? But there's not a huge downgrade with Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman's been playing great too. But Mohamed Sanu is going to get an opportunity to get somewhere between 7 and 10 catches this week. Mm-hmm. And if that's what his floor is, sign me up for Mohamed Sanu this week. I'm throwing him out there, and I'm doing it with confidence.
Yeah, I like Sanu. Mm-hmm. This guy, he's not necessarily a sleeper by no means. But if you look back this past week, you would have thought that the only person that Mr. Thomas Brady was looking at was Gronk. Gronk went off, man. Mm-hmm. He
was Gronk.
He was
Gronk-esque.
Yeah, finally. A lot of Gronk owners, I'm sure, have not been that pleased with Gronk, previously, where you could just plug him in and expect him to have 20-point games like he did on yesterday. But Brandin Cooks, he's that big play weapon that I think New England has missed since maybe Randy Moss. One of those guys that can stretch the field and, really explode, at the drop of a dime. And I think that's what's going to happen this week against the Bills. They're going to take out Gronk, try to contain him at least. And I think Cooks is going to be the beneficiary of, some of that double coverage, some of the safeties that are going to come up and try to slow down Burkhead, Lewis. Cooks is fast too, man. The dude is lightning fast. I wouldn't say he was the fastest one on the Saints last year, but he might. He's close.
He may have been.
Yeah, but I guarantee he is now on New England. So I like Cooks this week as a start. I'm not saying he's going to get 10 or 12 targets, but the 6 that he may get, one of those 6, he's going to have a big play.
Yep. Yep, I hear you. All right, I'm going to go with somebody who's had 3 150-yard plus games this year, and I'm going to sit him. I'm sitting Mr. T.Y. Hilton this week. They're going to be in Jacksonville, and it's not so much like we mentioned in prior videos that I don't like T.Y.'s matchup. I think if Ramsey plays, he's going to give him fits, but I don't think Brissett's going to have time to throw it. I really don't. He is the most sacked quarterback in football, going against arguably the best defensive line in football. He's not going to have a whole lot of time. Brissett's going to spend more time on his back than his feet. I don't think T.Y. is going to be able to get those big plays that he needs to be productive.
Right.
If you take out the 3 huge games that T.Y. had of 153, 175, 177, his next highest output for the year was 3 catches for 57 yards. It's just not – it's boom or bust. And going against this defense, it's got to be closer to the bust category. Therefore, with as much as probably on the line in your league, I'm not taking a chance on T.Y. Hilton losing it for me this week.
No. And that's sad to say, because, he's T.Y. Hilton. We say a lot of times, you got to start your studs. But, at this point in the game, you don't want to take a chance.
He's only got 37 receptions on the year. This is T.Y. Hilton, 37 receptions. I'm not willing to take that risk in Jacksonville this week.
No, sir. And talking about stud receivers, your number ones, this is a guy that I'm going to sit this week, and it's Alshon Jeffery. Going against Seattle. And again, they're not the Legion of Boom that we're accustomed to, especially with Sherman out. But they still have so many different pieces, involved in that defense that still make them formidable. And
they're like the Legion of Doomed.
Yeah.
Because that can go either way.
It can go either way.
Yeah.
But Alshon, he's just, I'm not quite sure. He should be way better than what he is, especially in this offense. I don't know if it's because he's just the separation. I think that's what it is. He's not one of those, fast backs. Wide receivers. He's big. He has the big stature. But again, you got some wide receivers that have that same stature that can get separation. Talking about like Julio. But Alshon doesn't have that burst. He doesn't have those wheels that he can do that. And going against Seattle, like I said, they're not going to slow down the offense, completely. But Alshon is not going to be heavily involved. It's going to be more of an Ertz game. Nelson Aguilar is a sneaky play this week. I think Nelson's going to get a lot of targets, but Alshon's not so much.
Not so much.
No.
I think he's kind of gone from what he was in Chicago, which was the ability to get 10-plus catches a game, has kind of turned into, well, now he's probably going to get 5 of them.
Yeah.
But they're bigger plays. They're not... Right. Short little quick passes. They're 20-plus yard plays. So going against the more difficult defenses, and like I said, Seattle's taking a step back. They're not what they were. He's still somewhat big play dependent.
Yeah.
That offense, outside of J.J., I guess.
Right.
Everybody else gets work, though, and Wentz is a stud. I'm going to go to the Big D.
Okay.
I'm going to Big D, and I'm going to sit there, Big D, in Dez Bryant.
Yeah.
I sat Dak in our show for quarterbacks. If I'm going to sit Dak, I'm going to sit his top receiver. I just don't want any part of the Cowboys offense. Dez is going to be at home against Washington. Him and Josh Norman will be playing who's the biggest diva on the sidelines.
Yeah.
It's going to turn into more of a mental game. I can see him yelling at somebody on the sidelines and I need more targets. I need more. That's the whole type of thing that I see this. And I think it's going to mentally add to the problems that they already have.
Yeah.
They are already struggling. The last thing they need is, childish distractions. And Josh Norman is a perfect master at getting into somebody's head.
Yeah.
And Dez is a head case.
Yeah.
And I don't like it this week. Dez is going to come out motivated. Dak has lost his confidence the past few weeks. As soon as they don't connect on a target or two, Norman's going to start going to work in his head, and before you know it, Brian's going to be more worried about, whatever Norman's saying instead of what route he's supposed to run. So I'm going to fade Dez this week. It's too risky for me to start him. Not that Washington is a lockdown D. It's just the combination of Washington's D and the struggling Dallas offense. No parts. I'll pass.
Yeah.
I'll pass on him.
And it's kind of a side note, but I mean, what do you think? Do you think they may make a change as far as the coaching?
No, I don't think so. I think because look at what they were when Zeke was there.
Yeah.
I think what they've realized, though, and they've had the injuries on the offensive line, which did not help things, but I think they realized that they had a lot more tied up into Zeke than they originally had thought. I thought they said, we got Alfred. If we lose Zeke, he's not going to have Zeke-type numbers, but he's still going to be all right. Well, that didn't happen, and they realized, oh, crap. Without Zeke, we are not what we thought we were.
Yeah.
So no, I think they keep it. I don't think it's all on the coaching. I think it's a mixture of things. I mean, they go out and get people with problems. If you go out and sign people with problems, these are the type of issues you're going to have, in the future. So he knew it going into it.
Yeah. Well, we kind of talked about this whole situation, with the quarterback and the running back in the previous episode. My sit for the week is Sammy Watkins. And again, like I said, he's going against Patrick Peterson. He's just, if not the best, I guess you would say, lockdown corner in the game right now. Lattimore is starting to slowly become that. He's a rookie still, and he's got, years to come in this league. But Peterson's been doing it for years, man. And, he's proven that he has that ability to take a side of the field out of the play, out of the equation. And Sammy Watkins is not a good play this week. More of a Cooper Kupp, like we mentioned before. Definitely Gurley. But if you got Sammy, and if he is your number one, which I'd highly doubt, but look elsewhere.
Yeah, this is just the Patrick Peterson day. I mean, you just don't start anybody against Patrick Peterson unless they're Julio or Antonio Brown, something like that. And Sammy is not Julio or Antonio Brown. Not this year.
Right.
Maybe next year he takes a step forward, but for some reason this year, not his year. All right, my last guy that I'm gonna talk about here is somebody who was dropped in a lot of leagues to begin the year, and over the past 4 weeks, he's averaging 7 catches a game, over 100 yards a game, and has turned back into what everybody thought he was preseason, and that's Jamison Crowder. All of a sudden, he's turned into, Kirk's favorite weapon again. Whatever happened, whether it was the Terrell Pryor confusion at the beginning of the season or what that got Crowder off of his game, I don't know. But this past week against the Giants, 7 catches for $141 and a touchdown. He's going to be going to Dallas. And as one of Kurt's top weapons, it's a viable option from week to week just because they don't have a whole lot of passing options.
That's true.
You don't know about Jordan Reed. You thought Davis was a for sure thing, and that didn't happen. You know what I mean? It's just the one constant over the past 4 weeks has been Jamison Crowder. And in an offense that is doing better than they did at the beginning of the season, he's a nice piece to have. I mean, he's got a very high floor. I mean, you're looking at, somewhere between 5 to 8 catches, 70 yards as your floor. And if that's your floor, that's a great play for a wide receiver too, flex play, whatever it is you need. So Jamison Crowder, he's a safe play. They're going to be in Dallas. The only thing that you hope doesn't happen is that they get up big against Dallas. Hopefully Dallas can stay consistent in scoring. But Crowder's also the type of guy who's getting all the short yardage first down throws too. So he's involved either way. He's returning punts. I mean, he's always got an opportunity to score, and this is what we all thought he was going to be to start the season. And it took him 7 weeks. But he's there. He's there now. So if you were one of the ones that held on to him, you can start him with confidence. If he was dropped, pick him up. If you just picked him up, feel free to go ahead and start him. I mean, he's a safe play going forward. Being that Josh Doxson is kind of their number one, he's not going to draw the top coverage a lot. Everybody's, coming up, it's going to have to go on Doxson. So Crowder's going to continue to do what he does in the slot. Get a few throws from the outside here or there, but, I mean, he's going to produce week in and week out.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Those were our start sits for wide receiver for the week. We appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting us up. If you got somebody on your lineup that we didn't talk about and you want to talk about them, send us a message. We'll help you out. Just be patient with us. Give us some time. We'll get to you.
Yeah.
We ain't going to forget about you.
That's right.
That's right. Follow us on Twitter. Hit us up however you need to. We'll be glad to help you guys out. Just make sure you have a good rest of your week, and we'll talk to you later. Peace. Thanks.